Hey, Kodiak here, and today we're back with another tribe update. I haven't actually upgraded the tribe yet. I've left it at 3. I know that from the third invasion we had when we tested it, that going up in terms of your tribe level will actually boost the equipment that your invasions have. Invasions are by far my biggest challenge, especially on full power game mode. So I do have to be kind of somewhat respectful of those and do that. And as part of that, we have actually moved to our final base location for the rest of the playthrough. Um, the issue is that it's level 31 to 40, which is basically double of the 11 to 20 ish area we were at. So I'm not really sure of the invasions yet, and given that they're so hard, I really want to like trigger an invasion here first prior to actually dealing with anything and kind of going through that. Um, on that topic, to kind of give a recap, the big thing, so with tribe level 3 was is you get ropeways. So I've spent a pretty significant amount of time setting up ropeways to various locations. So we have our tin mine down here, which then links into Bronzeholm, our old base, which then goes through up here through the copper. And originally that was just it. So these 3 would link back to this one, feed it copper, feed it tin, make the bronze, all that stuff. And then I expanded it on to through here up to the coal. And then we started sending coal back, and you can feed the iron pit or the iron bonfire there coal, so that way you're burning a better fuel. And then we continued it on even further. So from there, we went ahead and continued the ropeway through here. We cross this lake, come down to here, and then we come to these coal mine here and coal mine here, which then send resources, as you can see, to Hillholm, which is our new home. So overall, long-term plan-wise, we have now switched this. So now this tin, this copper, you can see they're just now sending items. It'll actually trigger items and send them all the way down here to Hillholm, whereas this coal vein will still actually go ahead and send back to Bronzeholm still, so that way we can keep the bonfire there on just fine. And right now, one mine seems to be enough to keep that going. But we'll see what happens if I upgrade it to stone or if I place more buildings or whatever the case may be. We'll see if that continues. If it is, then I'll probably send this third coal vein down to back to here as well. Overall, this location is probably my favorite location in the game. Extremely flat. So down here you can see that this is basically one big flat circle. The only difference is there is a little bit of a raised edge right over there, but that's not really a problem. You can see I make pretty good use of that raised edge overall. Overall, base design wise, this one's a new one for me. I do got the standard trophy room circle here, where we got a bunch of doorways with trophies on the wall. That'll jack the comfort up to 10 eventually. We have a centralized front, basically kill box. And then we have a relatively open room that's kind of organized and separated into little sub rooms. One of the things I wanted to address with the old design that I would do is normally I would have just like a box right here, so like a little a literal rectangle room, and then I'd have like another rectangle room here, and just we'd have like a big circle of rectangle rooms off all the edges for all the areas for like cooking, alchemy, smelting, that type of stuff. But the problem is that you lose some dead space here in the middle with the wedges. So like if there's a box there and there's a box here, then that means there's going to be a wedge in the middle that's just dead space. And I don't really care about dead space down below, but up above that's problematic because it basically kills a huge amount of your roof space up here that you can't do anything with. So if there's a wedge here, this wedge is unusable. And then if you decide to get stylish and now you have like a slanted roof, then you lose even more of that space to the slanted roof. And then now you just have like a narrow little strip here. And you maybe be able to fit, like 2 or 3 farms in there. And then that's that. So now I have tons of room. And you really do need a ton of room now these days. You need room for farms. You need room for training grounds. You need room for exploration camps. Like there's all sorts of like things that you need actual room for, and having the big flat space is pretty nice for that. So, um, so far I'm happy with it. We'll see how it plays out long term. I'm a little nervous about having a base this big for reasons that I've run into the past by having a very large base, but we'll see if that becomes a problem. Otherwise, defensively speaking, I really like it because you do have the outer barrier. So it's like you got the outer barrier there, and then that funnels them to the gate. I haven't put the gate on yet, but basically the gate will prevent the scout from coming in and dying to the pegboards. We also have an inner barrier here that you can see, and this basically is to dissuade them from just deciding to go in and start tunneling into the middle. The nice thing with that is that these walls have around 2,400 health. These walls have 24,000 health. So 10 times the effort to get in. Plus, there's actually roadblocks. So if they attack those roadblocks, they actually damage themselves with a battering ram and they'll kill themselves. So that'll work out pretty good. I have no doubt that if like a stack of like 20 get onto one location, they can definitely tunnel in and get in there. But if that happens, we can kind of sully forth and start engaging them and prevent them from doing that. That'll give me plenty of time to actually do that. So, but otherwise, they'll come in here. Typically speaking, they'll run along the pegboards and basically kill themselves, like I've seen multiple times so far throughout various runs and defenses. This is a very efficient setup because the maze is basically built as part of your base. Instead of like mazing them through kind of like a snaking area, they basically just run along the edges and come in here. What's nice about that as well is that they do have a tendency to kind of split off. So it's like you might get 15 go one direction and 15 go another direction. Well, even if they go on the outside, they burrow through the outside wall here, they're just going to still end up in the pegboards. So that's kind of the nice thing with this. Whereas if it's a snaking design, they might decide to go to some other place where the snaked defenses aren't there, and then now they're like tunneling in through some other location. So and we saw that during Invasion 2 where they actually went to like one of the sides and actually went in behind. So this kind of prevents all that. So otherwise they get into here and then basically it's just your standard kill box. I don't know if we're actually going to load and use these turrets, but I'll think about it. We might try it out. We'll have to see, but I last couple of times I've had them, I've never really found them that useful. So we'll have to figure that out and kind of guess or try to test it out and see if it's actually useful. The big reason is they tend to stay at range, so like they won't come into here. They'll like sit down here and like shoot at the guy, and it's like okay, I want them to come in here and I want them to die. So we'll see how that works out. Otherwise, so that's basically the new base. I'm very happy. I'll be even happier when it gets lit up, so that way when it's dark, it's not so pitch black. So that's kind of it. Roleplay that took up the majority of the time. Otherwise, content-wise, I didn't really do a whole lot. I did the Holy Ruins, but I was way higher level than this because you don't really need to do it until you need to restrict a module, and you don't need to restrict a module until your mask is level 10. So I did downgrade my gear to kind of show what the experience would be like if you did it at level appropriate stuff, but it's pretty basic. I originally did the Ancient Dungeon Ruins over here to get the Wilderness Mask, but I lost that video, so I had to re-record it going through a second time. So if you did notice that, that's why that happened. Very easy. This is this is a dungeon that's like right in between bronze and iron. So if you come in here in iron, you just smash your way through it like no problem. But that's good. You have to farm this dungeon a lot. This is basically the only place in the game for the bloodstones, and you need the bloodstones for things like the Hemogenesis creams later on. So we'll definitely be coming back here for that. Otherwise, did some exploration, revealed more parts of the map. We did come up to the desert. I got my ostrich that I had to get. And again, Conquest Mask comes in clutch. You're able to just invis your way past the ostriches, kind of lure them off because they hear the sound of your footsteps, so they walk off the nest. Then you just run over to the nest, grab an egg, walk out of there invisible. They don't attack, and then you just teleport out. Super simple. I picked up these portals, but I couldn't do the scout because they had one of these like tribe prospecting or tribe exploration squads or whatever there, and I was just like, I don't really want to take on like 15 guys or whatever. I'm just gonna I'm just gonna grab my 2 portals and get out, and I'll reveal that later. So that's pretty much it for most of the overland exploration. Didn't really do a whole lot. Didn't really farm bosses or anything like that. Um, Basically, this tier is really long though. So like there is other content that I didn't do that we'll have to do in the future. There's an ancient dungeon we actually have to do here. There is another holy ruins over here that we have to do. So there's still a lot of content within this particular, like, we'll say, tribe level that would be like level appropriate. Um, there's also This is also about the time when you really start to work on getting new guys and training guys and doing stuff like that. And I have spent some time on that. I don't really want to go into too much details on this, but basically, I've been trying to get, for example, getting braver. That's probably my choice ability, and clan would be claw. So I went after that. I've been having some discussions with some people on Reddit, such as Miss Mia Wallace 99. We have been discussing what actually impacts exploration camps. And one of the things we discovered is attack and defense matters quite a bit. So talents like this one that increases your attack by 9% work. So, and there's a bunch of other things that we'll go. I'll basically make a video on that at some point of like making your ideal exploration guide that will really crank up the percentages, because you really need to, because like the higher end expeditions are like insane. Like they have like a 5% success rate if you don't really try to min max that. So kind of insane. So I got a couple of those guys as well. Got like quick bandaging, just onto this guy, so that way we can put it onto any other one. But now we're leveling these guys up. We'll throw them on the die tables, things like that. We'll get them going. Definitely got some other guys and other various crafters and things of that nature. So definitely all of that. But unfortunately, I've been spending a lot of my time at these basic camps. So been spending a lot of time here at the low level barracks. So that's like 1 to 10 or 1 to 20. Then you got the Flint one, which again, it's like 10 to 20. So it's not, these aren't really high level. So my awareness level hasn't been going up. So that's kind of unfortunate. So that's part of the reason why I've kind of lagged behind on that end. I really am not spending a lot of time doing XP. It's just been a lot of time building, a lot of time setting up ropeways, a lot of times doing a lot of that stuff. So that's basically tribe level 3. We'll see what happens if the invasion goes well. Like I said, we'll probably upgrade this. I know, for example, upgrading to level 4 does give me the pegboards. Like I said, you get the iron pegboard and the iron roadblocks, so that'll help out with more defenses. And things of that nature. But otherwise, I think that about covers it. Thanks.